Hey there everybody, Ginger here with another really quick comic review for StarWarsReporter.com. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about today is the Screaming Citadel. Now this crossed a couple of different series. It's not just a straight up miniseries like normal, but thankfully they collected it into a nice tight little graphic novel that once again it picked up off of Comixology for a nice tidy little price. And this was really a pretty good one. If you've seen my last couple of reviews for Thrawn and Phasma, I thought they were sort of mediocre. They were kind of nice, but not anything I would go, oh, you've never read a Star Wars comic before? Here, read this one. Screaming Citadel gets a lot closer to that level of quality. Okay, so what this is, where we start with this, is Doctor Aphra, the scummier female version of Han Solo with her evil versions of 3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca. They decide that they came up with a new use for Luke Skywalker. Now, of course, Aphra presents it to Luke as, "Hey, I've got this crystal with like a Jedi's consciousness in it. If this crazy queen at this place who sees people once a year if we could convince her, she'll unlock it and you can get a trainer and I can get some cool archaeological stuff, because for those who don't know who Aphra is, she's something of a renegade archaeologist." Basically, somebody decided to combine Han Solo, Indiana Jones, make her evil-ish, and plop her in a Star Wars comic. Hey, it works, actually. I kind of enjoy the character. Anyway. Oh gosh, where was I going with that? Anyway, she of course manages to convince Luke that this is a great idea, because Luke is still a little on the naive side and is a little too willing to trust Aphra, even though she did try to kidnap him and bring him to Darth Vader, and she spent a lot of time working for Vader, as we've seen in previous comics like Vader Down, for example. Anyway. And this takes place after that. And so she convinces them, Leia, Han, Santa, they all realize, oh crap, Luke's gone. Where's Luke? They figure out that Aphra's got him. They think she kidnapped him outright again, but no, he went willingly, which surprises all of them, of course. And they follow the trail to the Screaming Citadel, where we find out things are, of course, not what they seem. Luke really should have been saying, "I've got a bad feeling about this," somewhere along the line. Because naturally the queen isn't really like a normal queen of any Screaming Citadel. Well, she's Queen of the Screaming Citadel, but she's not like normal in the sense that she has an alien parasite living in her. And the way this works is the most powerful of the parasites sits at the top of basically a giant pyramid scheme. All the lower level ones feed the higher ones, and those higher ones feed the higher ones, all the way up to the top until you get to the queen. And what she likes is to recruit some new odd organic life forms that she can impregnate with these parasites and just give her fresh energies to feast on. And naturally, a Force user like Luke is a rare treat for her. So once she discovers, oh, Luke's a Jedi, awesome, or a Jedi wannabe at this point, but whatever. And she thinks this is the greatest thing ever, and of course tries to double cross Aphra and impregnate her with one of these parasites as well. Aphra doesn't like that. That's about when Han and Leia and Santa show up. And there's fights and everything. Han gets taken over by the queen, who has crazy mind control powers, and Aphra switches sides like 3 or 4 times over the course of this series, until eventually she does wind up helping Luke get out, safe and sound. Interestingly, Aphra's Wookiee friend does get impregnated with a parasite, but that's not a good thing for the bad guys, because these parasites and Wookiees don't mesh so good at all. Basically, it turns the turns evil Chewbacca into an even more menacing killing machine, and he just runs through just ripping bad guys apart left and right. It's pretty cool. Anyway, well, the story, like I said, is pretty well executed. Everything flows nicely for the most part. Luke, I like what they do with him at the end, because he actually does get parasited briefly and gets into this mental battle with the Queen, and it's after the crystal gets unlocked. So this ancient Jedi Master, or at least his consciousness, or at least the remnants of his consciousness, like however you want to look at it, is telling Luke, this parasite isn't the greatest thing, but there's a massive power increase, and basically the good outweighs the bad. So I think we should totally roll with this. Luke's like, I don't like that idea at all. The idea of submitting in any way to this thing, or thinking I could control it and deal with all the negative impulses that go along with it, not sitting so well. So Luke actually kicks the Jedi Master out of his mind, defeats the parasite, defeats the Queen, and basically shows himself to be, of course, the awesome Luke Skywalker we all know and love. I didn't quite like how they like to portray Han. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm going all Lando. I did just rewatch Solo, so I'm sorry. The thing they do with Han is, I don't know. It's not just this particular storyline. It's in general lately. I've noticed they tend to portray Han as kind of a bumbler who gets himself in a lot of trouble, not just needlessly, but stupidly. He's not just reckless, he's kind of dumb. I don't like that. Now, Han was never a genius per se, but he wasn't stupid either. And I've just noticed that's been a trend lately. I've been noticing a little bit in Solo, in this Screaming Citadel storyline. I've seen it elsewhere too, and I'm not a fan of it. You could argue it's there in The Force Awakens as well. I don't know. For some reason, there's some need to diminish him, and I disapprove. Otherwise, from a technical aspect, since this goes from a couple of different series, a couple of different ongoings, you get a couple of different artists along with it. So there's some jarring changes in style as you're going through. The better style is, I didn't really pay attention to which series I was in or who the artist was while I was reading this, but I am presuming that the better art, and you'll see what I mean if you pick this up, is an Aphra's ongoing, just based on cover art that I've seen. It's got to be in that. And yeah, that art is really, really good. The other is serviceable, but it doesn't particularly tickle my fancy. And of course, otherwise, maybe there's some sort of redemptive arc that plays out for Aphra down the road. I don't know. She certainly, at this point, has burned her bridges with Vader and the Empire. But what comes after this, I honestly don't know. Suffice to say, I enjoyed Screaming Citadel a lot. I strongly recommend it. So if you don't have the funds right now, wait till next May the 4th, and they'll probably throw it up on sale again and pick it up then. But until next time, may the Force be with you.